Today is Sunday, August 27th, 2017, and this is Generally Trivial.
Welcome to Generally Trivial, a conversation on the lighter side of current events.
Hello and welcome back to sort of an episode of Generally Trivial. We didn't want to leave you without knowing what was going on. It's been a pretty rough week to get things prepared, and just a rough week in general. Myself and Sean were just at Gen Con and didn't have a lot of time to prep that way. And there's just been some other, life things going on that makes it a little bit tough. But we didn't want to leave you with nothing, and wanted to just tell you kind of what's going on. So in 2 weeks, we're not 100% sure if we'll have an episode out that time. But then 2 weeks after that, we're going to be celebrating 2 years of the podcast. And that is a pretty significant milestone, at least in our eyes, because, starting this, I never knew how long it was going to last. And to hit that milestone, it feels really good. And we'd love if you guys have any thoughts on the show, encouragement for the guys, anything like that, to give us a call at 415-PODLINE and leave that, and we'd love to be able to play it on the show. And the same rule always applies. We're going to be able to hand out a sticker to you in the mail. We'll send it out. We've done that a few times. And it would just be great. We think it'd be cool to hear what people have kind of thought throughout the years, and just kind of get your input and get your voice on the show. We think that would be pretty cool. So we do have a little bit for you today, and we're going to start off with a story from Jordan.
All right, guys, I have to tell you this story that I read about online that I found to be extremely just hilarious and random. It kind of gives a whole new meaning to the saying, when pigs fly. And this one is not a Florida man story, but really a Florida family story. On July 15th, there was a family that lived in Florida who were woken up to a loud thud, or kind of like a smashing sound that came on the roof, And so they all woke up 4 a.m. and they didn't know what was going on. They went outside, and on their front lawn was a 15-pound ham, a frozen ham that just hit their roof and fell and rolled into the yard. They didn't know what was going on, and so they called the manufacturer who made the ham, and then there was a receipt that had been stuck in the wrapping, and the guy who had bought it, they tracked him down. Turns out that he lives 170 miles away from where this ham ended up. So the manufacturer had no idea how the ham got there. The guy who bought the ham that lives 170 miles away had no idea how to get there. This story actually got so popular that Jimmy Kimmel did an interview with them, with the family, and the only thing that they could come up with as the reason why they think the ham ended up on the roof is that Kimmel asked them, and the family's reply was, "We've tossed a lot of things around. You've got your planes and your sausage throwing machines. I think the only logical answer is a North Korean sausage missile." So I just thought it was really funny that, first of all, someone thinks there's a North Korean sausage missile and a sausage throwing machine. If there is one, I don't know of it, but I just thought it was really funny. My thought on what it could have been is a water spout could have picked it up. It could have came out of an airplane, which is very viable. Although not too many people drop things out of airplanes anymore, but you're still allowed to as long as it doesn't cause any damage to anybody. Anyways, that's a whole other story. So that's my little fun bit.
And thank you, Jordan. A North Korean sausage missile sounds pretty much like the best possible funny fantasy football team name. So if you don't already have it in your league, you need to get on that. So and then next, I have a story for you. And my story actually unintentionally goes along with Jordan's story really, really well. So in southern England, there was a fire, and firefighters showed up to the scene, as you know, that's what they do, and they saved the farm that was on fire, and on the farm were piglets. And of course, they got in, and they got in time, and were able to save the piglets from being burned alive, killed in the fire. So this past week, they were treated, they were honored for going and doing this service. They saved the pigs in the farm from being burned. And the way Rachel Rivers decided to treat these firemen was actually to serve them sausages, a batch of sausages, which were made from the piglets that they saved, which is, it seems like something from a book. Even her name, Rachel Rivers, sounds like something that's like a comic book name with the double R's there. But they were saved a while ago. In February, but she just recently was able to get enough meat on the bones to serve them, and give the firefighters some thank yous for what they did. Now, I'm guessing that she also was able to sell some of this and make money from it too. So that's probably why she was thankful, not just because that she had them saved as pets. She said she knows that, vegetarians were likely to hate it, but that they farm and that's what they do. That's normal for them. And I applaud it, even though it is an interesting way to say thank you. Here, you save this thing, now eat it. But I thought it was also really funny that Jordan had that story and then mine kind of tailed right on into that. So, I'm also wondering what you guys thought of the Eclipse. I know a lot of people kind of went crazy about this thing. Where we were at in Indiana, like Sean talked about a couple weeks ago, was not directly in the line of the full eclipse, but we could see it, except where I was at, it was rainy, so you couldn't see it. But a few hours south of us, it was able to be seen, and I know a few people who made the trek down. Treated it like a once-in-a-lifetime thing, even though, 7 years from now, there's going to be another one. But I'm curious what you listeners thought. If any one of you actually got the chance to see it. I was both at work and it was rainy, so it just wasn't happening for me. But if any of you guys happen to catch it and have any thoughts on that, we'd love to be able to hear what you have to say about that. Jordan also has some thoughts.
Hello. I just wanted to talk to you all about the eclipse that just happened on the 21st. First of all, I wanted to say that it was my 2-year anniversary, which is great. Like, it was exciting that my wife and I could experience the eclipse, the first one in 99 years that covered the continental U.S. I just thought that was pretty neat. But my favorite thing about the the eclipse was that there was tons and tons of videos regarding how to view it, where to view it, what the best tools were, and just tips on what to do. It was just neat to see everybody's different perspective on things. But my favorite was from a guy from Smarter Every Day who he gave you 10 tips on how to view and whatnot. And he referenced an app that was made by a plastic surgeon friend of his. I think I've mentioned that before on the show, but it's called the Solar Eclipse Timer. It's pretty neat and it's pretty accurate. It does what it needs to do. It tells you when contact 1, 2, 3, and 4 happened during the eclipse. So my wife and I, we went to Evansville, which is southern Indiana, for the eclipse, and we pretty much camped out all day. Evansville was not in the plane of totality, unfortunately. It was 99% totality. The traffic was so bad we couldn't make it to our destination of Carbondale, but it is what it is, and we still enjoyed it. The eclipse, we watched it on the riverfront in Evansville, Indiana, which was really cool because sitting on the riverfront, you know, there was a little island out in the middle, and boats were just parking up on this island, and then whoever else was out there was watching it, and I don't know, it was just a really neat experience to get the darkness effect, the kind of shadow of the moon, and then the birds kind of quieted down, and the crickets and the just nightlife came alive, which is really weird, but also very just cool to experience. So anyway, that was my experience with the eclipse on August 21st. What do you guys think?
Exactly. Yeah. What was it you guys thought? Did any of you get the chance to go out and view that, or any of you listeners in that path of totality? That would be pretty cool. We've seen some cool shots. If you guys have one, if you send it to the page, we'd be happy to post it and give you credit. But it definitely is a neat experience to be able to have that happening in our lifetimes, and something cool to share. But maybe some of you went a little overboard, you know, unless you did happen to be able to catch it with Bigfoot, as Sean mentioned 2 weeks ago, then that'd be pretty epic. Again, I wanted to make sure you guys knew we would love to have you on the show. Just call 415-POD-LINE and give us a call. We'll play a voicemail. That's actually how Jordan left his message today. Just do that. We'll get you on the show here in 4 weeks for our 2-year anniversary that we're pretty excited about, and we've got some plans for that episode. And go ahead and do that. And with that, for Jordan, I'm Jeff, and we are out.